Hare Krishna and welcome everyone to our weekly chapter a day of Bhagavad Gita session. So today we'll be discussing transcendental knowledge, which is chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita. So chapter 4, transcendental knowledge. The title of this chapter is transcendental knowledge. We'll do a quick recap of what we've done so far. We'll not go through all the chapters. As we'll progress, we'll just take a look at very briefly the last chapter that we've discussed. So we'll do a quick recap of chapter 3 that we discussed on last Sunday, where the chapter starts with Arjuna asking a question whether he should renounce or he should perform activity, because he was confused by the equivocal instructions given by Krishna in chapter 2. And the Krishna answers that prescribed duty must be performed. There is no way one should try to retire or renounce prematurely. No way one should, give up one's duties. So, meeting notes, audio, allow recording. I'm denying recording. I've recorded this session. I'm recording this session. Whoever wants, I can share the recording subsequently. They can download it. It's available. It will be available on YouTube, so it should not be a very difficult task. So, so the Krishna advises that prescribed duty must be performed. Then he tells that best way to work is for the pleasure of Krishna. That yajnarthat karmano nyatra lokoyam karma bandhana tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sanga samachara. That best way to work where you should not get reaction. Where best way to work is work in such a way. The art of doing great work is work in such a way that you will not get any reactions, and because there is no reaction, there is no bondage. There is no bondage, there is no repeated birth and repeated death that you will have to face. So that is great, but not everyone is able to do that, because Krishna is not easily understood by everyone. Even devatas and great rishis, acharyas, they make mistakes in understanding Krishna. So what to speak of common people? So when you're not able to do that, no, at least you should be doing some kind of a sacrifice for demigods. And that we saw through the cycle of sacrifice, how if you're not able to sacrifice for Krishna, offer your fruits of your actions to Krishna, then at least offer it to the demigods, so that eventually idea is that you should work in such a way that you should not have bondage. Then Krishna says that though Arjuna, you can follow the topmost philosophy to set right example for the common people. You should work as if as if you are as if you want to be free from the bondage, because most of the people who are your followers, they will get right example to follow, and therefore you should work. And then he concludes that chapter 3 by answering a question coming from Arjuna, that why is someone compelled compelled to do sinful activities? What is in it? What is in humans? What is in us that is sometimes forces us to do sinful activity, act in sinful way, even much against our own desire, which we regret later. We end up doing things which we regret later. So what is in it that force us to do that kind of a horrible action? And then Krishna answers that in the last section of this chapter 3, that it is lust only, O Arjuna, which is born out of contact with the senses and the mode of passion. So, and then he speak about lust, how it can be controlled. And this information uh, that we will continue, the discussion will continue in the fourth chapter as well, taking picking up where we left off in the last third chapter, towards the end of third chapter. So chapter 4, quick overview. The acronym we'll be using, discussing, is EARS, EARS. E is eternal education, A is accurate understanding, R is removing reactions, and S is sacrifice. And these are the verses during which we will cover all these aspects. Very interesting topic coming up. So request everyone to kindly be patient and stay in the session. Even if in case you get a call drop, if you get dropped, join back using the same name, Zoom name, so we can track your attendance. At the same time, you will benefit by hearing the continuous discussion that we will undertake. We'll be discussing many concepts again. Some of those I mentioned in the mail message which I said posted on the group, but uh, a lot more is coming. So be patient, remove time, and hear attentively, and note down questions. A lot of information will come your way, so we are trying to cover entire chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which can be discussed over 10 sessions, 10-20 sessions easily. And a lot of practical applications also are there in this particular section of Bhagavad Gita. So it's not expected that all of you will grasp everything in first hearing. Therefore we are happy to share recording, we are happy to share the slides that we are currently presenting. So all of you will need to go through those as well, and then to come up with questions, with from the practical application point of view. Currently we may just give a general description. It may not sound very suitable for our life. We may get a question that what am I supposed to do with this knowledge in my life, my life where I go to office, I go to my school, college, or I'm a housewife, whatever, wherever, whichever stage of life am I in, how is this useful to me? So where is my practical application? Now that question ideally should come up in everyone's mind, and so that should lead you to scrutinizingly study the PPT, watch the recording again, some portions once again, and then come up with questions which could be more personal. And those can be discussed in one to one conversations where we can draw personal application, personal meaning to all those teachings, because these are general teachings and then there is a personal application, and both can be different. So one has to be aware of that aspect as well. So with this, let's proceed with this. Let's jump into this, topic. So there is so the title of this of this chapter is transcendental knowledge. So what is there is a hierarchy of knowledge that Krishna has given in the Bhagavad Gita. So chapter 2, where Krishna has given the basic philosophical knowledge that you're not this body, your original nature, your real nature is spiritual, and as a spirit soul you are eternal, you have never taken birth, and you will not die also. So don't worry about about the body getting destroyed. Think beyond that. Now this is knowledge, now, but this is not topmost knowledge, this is fundamental knowledge. Adhyatma begins by the study of atma, or spirituality begins only by getting basic understanding about the spirit. The differentiation between spirit and matter is the most fundamental activity that one may have to do in course of studying spirituality. So so this is, though this is striking knowledge, this is not ultimate knowledge, this is a foundational knowledge, fundamental knowledge. Better than this is superior knowledge, which currently we are going to discuss in the chapter 4, where Krishna introduces himself as Ishvara of all living entities, that all the, all the living entities are spirit soul, and as spirit soul everyone is eternal, everyone is Satchit Ananda, but not everyone is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there is one Supreme Personality of Godhead which has all these qualities in far greater degree, and therefore he becomes Ishvara of all the living entities, he becomes Ishvaras of Devatas also. So what to speak of normal common human beings? So this is called superior knowledge or transcendental knowledge, and that is what we'll be discussing today in the chapter 4. More than better than this knowledge is confidential knowledge. Now there Krishna is going to reveal much deeper information about himself. It's like one is saying that I am the king of this whole universe. That is, Krishna is referred to as, no, one of the name is Ananta Koti Brahmanda Nayak. is Krishna. So he is like Brahmanda Nayak. He's king of all the entire Brahmanda, all the planetary systems and everything, the entire creation. He is the king. He is the supreme most person. Now, but that same supremest person has a personal aspect about himself as well, and knowing that is confidential. Now, that is not publicly available, may not be publicly available. So that information will be revealed to us in chapter 7, where we go deeper in getting knowledge about Krishna. And ninth chapter is titled as the most confidential knowledge. Now, glories of path of devotion or bhakti. So, what Krishna likes, what he does not like, that is confidential. But what is most confidential is by doing what Krishna becomes Krishna get attracted to you. You know, knowing somebody's greatness, we may get attracted to a personality, a famous personality, a very powerful personality, very influential personality. Generally has a lot of followers. What does that mean? You know, those many people, those many millions of people are attracted towards the this particular personality. But chapter 9 discloses those activities which we, if we perform, that supreme personality get attracted towards us. Now that is called glories of path of devotion or bhakti. So that is how the progression of knowledge happens within Bhagavad Gita. We'll start with the first verse where Krishna, Sri Bhagavan Vacha, there's no question asked. Krishna starts speaking, Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavan Aham Avyayam. Vivasvana Manave Praha Manur Ishvakave Bravit. The personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivasvan. And Vivasvan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ishwaku. So, what is happening here? The third chapter concluded with the discussion about lust. How the last question, 36th verse, Arjuna asked a question that how why people are committing sinful actions as if someone is forcing them to do so. And the Krishna answers that by giving description about lust. He says it is lust only, O Arjuna, which is nitya vairini of those who are trying to cultivate knowledge and bhakti. So it's extremely dangerous. So now that nitya vairini, now this knowledge, Krishna is saying that I have not manufactured it on the battlefield based on your questions. Now, this is the same knowledge I had given this is the knowledge of imperishable science of yoga. I have given this knowledge to Sun God, whose name was Vivaswan. Now, Sun God is also a designation, is a post, and currently it is occupied by Vivaswan. He has a name, Sun God has a name, and then it get transferred, this knowledge get passed on from generations, from in a disciplic succession. So it's not manufactured, it's not concocted, it is heard once and it is passed on as it is to the other generations. And that is what is being described here, that how Vivaswan gave it to Manu, Manu gave it to Ishwaku. But Krishna is saying that there's a problem. What is the problem? Problem is evam parampara praptim imam rajarshayo viduhu sakale nehamahata yogo nashtah parantapa. So what is happening? When we play this game Chinese whisper, we tell something to the our neighbor and he whispers it in the ear of his neighbor, and that's how it goes on. And when the last person speak the same, repeats what he's heard, no, it's completely different, distorted, completely lost. The original message was completely lost. Often that's how it no it turn out to be. So why it happens? So similar thing happens in this as well. Even though it has been given to told to Sun God, and he told it to his son, and they told it to their sons, they taught it to their sons properly, carefully, as it is. However, in the chain of disciplic succession, the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in the course of time, sa kale neha mahta. Sa kala is time, and sa kala neha mahta. Yoge nashtah parantapa. That science as it appears to be lost. So when science is lost, when s- the chain of disciplic succession is broken, then Supreme Personality of Godhead has to re-establish that chain, and therefore he is making Arjuna the first listener in the new disciplic succession. So Prabhupada writes that eternal knowledge, the chapter 3, Krishna said how to conquer lust by regulating senses and engaging in the service of Krishna. Lust is Nitya Vairini. It's described as Nitya Vairini, or eternal enemy of the knowledgeable people or devotees. But king is obliged to protect his citizen not only from external enemy but also from this internal enemy. So a king is generally understood to be, having one of the duty is to protect from outsiders attacking the kingdom. And the people in general in the kingdom are innocent, are they are not soldiers, they don't have weapons, and a king has a duty that from externally nobody should attack his kingdom and unnecessarily kill people who are innocent and who are not really harmful to anyone. So they're leading normal life of grahastha or vaishya. They could be businessmen, they could be farmers, and so their protection is king's primary duty. But Prabhupada is taking this point deeper, that this is the external enemy, this is visible, but what about internal enemy? Internal enemy is lust. That's what described by him just now. Krishna has just described that about lust. So he said it is also duty of a king to protect his population, his subjects, his praja from this internal enemy. And therefore it is imperative that kings should be taught in this knowledge. They should not just hear this, they should practice it, and they should set an example of how to conduct one's life. When king behaves, control his regulate his senses and behaves in a particular way, his kingdom, the people in his kingdom are obviously going to follow saintly king. Therefore the term used here to describe such team is Rajarashi. That Raja is even though he is a Raja, he is living like a Rishi. So that's how Rajarshi term got coined in this particular verse. Very beautiful term that Krishna discloses in this particular verse. So Rajarshi, saintly kings, that they practice themselves, and seeing them, their citizens also can follow them. Now, very beautiful word Prabhupada uses here. Partnership between a saint and a king is must for having ideal social order. Think about it. Partnership between a saint and a king. Now, king is ruler. Apparently, king is sitting in the throne and he is ruling everything. He is giving orders. The army listen to him, and he listens to a guru, a saintly person. We can think of many examples. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Maharaj Prataparudra, uh, a famous Chanakya example, Chandragupta Maurya, Gautam Buddha, Samrat Ashok. Now these are saintly kings who had their advisors as saints, and they were taking their advices, and their based on that advice they were ruling, and therefore their kingdoms were prosperous. Therefore their kingdoms were called is as good as Ram Raja. Even Lord Ram had Vasishtha in his assembly, who was advising him on all critical issues. No, Hastinapur had Dronacharya, Krupacharya, and many other saintly people. Like Vidura was saintly person, so they were advisors of the kingdom. So that is this partnership should work for proper social order, and it is critical. So king otherwise, if the so much power that king possesses, that he can become mad if he is not under the guidance of a guru. And a guru can have all the knowledge but cannot execute anything unless, because he is not the king, he's not interested in becoming king. So he need a kshatriya king to listen to him and act according to the shastric knowledge, so that the social order within the society remains, prevails, and functions properly. The So it is not that this knowledge is to be exclusively given to the kings only. It is meant for everyone. However, when king follow his praja also follow him, and that's why it is it is it is started from the king. It is not, it's a top down approach rather than a bottom up approach. And top down works better. That's what Bhagavad Gita is saying here. So here Prabhupada saying the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is not freshly thought by Krishna on the battlefield exclusively for Arjuna. It's a general knowledge. It's meant, it's existed, it's ever existed. It's not that it's a freshly concocted by Krishna. Then Lord Brahma said, why it is given to sun god? Lord Brahma says in Brahma Samhita 5.52 that let me worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead Govinda, who is original person and under whose order the sun, which is the king of all planets, is assuming immense power and heat. The sun represents the eye of the Lord and traverses its orbit in obedience to his order. So why sun rises and why sun sets and why sun moves in his orbit? Because he's been ordered to do so by Krishna. That's what this particular verse explains. Krishna first gave this knowledge to sun god Vivaswan, who was king of all planet. Because if you want to establish order, start from the top. When it comes from the top, it's easily understood and followed by everyone. So that was the message given, and the order is given. So it is prioritization, not discrimination. Knowledge is available to everyone who wants to learn and practice. But in the course of time, as Krishna describes, that this knowledge was lost. Therefore, about 5,000 years ago, Krishna had to tell this knowledge again and make Arjuna his first receiver. So this becomes eventually this also becomes distorted eventually in the current age. As we see, Bhagavad Gita is not understood in the same way. There are many, hundreds of Bhagavad Gita available in the market today. And why not all Bhagavad Gita gives the same message? Because the same thing has happened today also. Same thing has happened. If the real meaning of Bhagavad Gita gets distorted, has got distorted through various editions that people have written commentary on the Bhagavad Gita based on their own whims and fancies. They've given their own interpretations. A translator has to translate. Translator has a job to act as a link between the speaker and the people who are listeners, the audience. And his primary job is to translate the same message as it is without adding anything from him. He has to translate and communicate it to the listeners. However, when the same translator start giving his own interpretations, his own versions, and depart from what the original speaker has been speaking, try to give some other meaning, वो कुछ बोल रहा है, ओरिजिनल स्पीकर कुछ बोल रहा है और ये कुछ अलग मीनिंग उसका निकाल के खुद का इंटरप्रिटेशन लगा के ऑडियंस को समझाने की कोशिश कर रहा है. When that happens, then the original message naturally get lost, because now the translator is trying to give his own who is impose his own ideas on the original thought spoken by the speaker. The the his that is not what his job is. That is not what he's supposed to do. So this is the problem, Prabhupada says, with the various editions of Bhagavad Gita available in the market today. And hence Prabhupada had to give authentic explanation of Bhagavad Gita as it is. So each writer had tried propagating their own philosophy using words from Krishna. Therefore, by reading those Bhagavad Gita, nobody can experience any transformation, nobody can get any benefit, and you remain as you were. So those reading those Bhagavad Gita becomes a useless endeavor. Krishna says further that sa evayam maya tedya yoga proktah puratanaha bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam yo etada uttamam. Now, this is the rahasya, and not an ordinary rahasya, not an ordinary secret. ये रहस्य है and uttama rahasya है. This is the topmost secret. Why it is what is the secret about? The secret is about ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme. This is the ancient science of the relationship. This is science of relationship with the Supreme. And the relationship has to have two aspects or two parties to it. And one is Supreme Personality of Godhead, and second one is the living entity. So, this is today told by me to you because you are my devotee as well as my friend, Bhakta and Sakha. So, you're related to me in these two aspects, in these two relationships. And because you are dear to me and I am dear to you, I am revealing this knowledge to you. It's not that anyone who reads, who knows Sanskrit can understand this knowledge just by knowing Sanskrit. They will not understand unless I give my mercy to them, unless I become merciful to them. They will not understand. So without my mercy, without my sanction, this knowledge cannot be understood by anyone. And you are getting that sanction, you are getting that mercy because you are my devotee, you are my friend. Therefore you can only understand the transcendental mystery of this science. Now, Krishna gives the qualification that cannot be understand unless he reveals it to you. You can understand it when Krishna reveals it to you. And for that to happen, you should be related with Krishna in some way. Sakha and a bhakta, devotee and a friend. So so he cannot be understood by our own efforts only. We need Krishna's mercy. Therefore, he is God. If we were to be able to understand Krishna by our own endeavor, then we could become superior to Krishna. Then he is no more God. Then we could be higher than him. But that's not the case. So we understand Krishna only when he reveals, he allow us to understand, and he reveals based on our qualification. Our qualification comes from our activities. We need to act in devotion. We need to become devotees of Krishna. So there's a beautiful verse which will refer in the 10th chapter, where Krishna says that that I am revealing to you that uh, that that Ananya Chetaha Satatam Yomam Smarati Nityashaha Tasyaham Sulabha Partha. That's another verse. That's 8.14. So in this particular verse, Krishna says, 10.10, where Krishna says that because you are lovingly remembering me, Yomam Smarati Nityashaha, that therefore Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tvam Yena Mam Upayantite. Therefore, seeing your endeavor, seeing your constant effort to remember me constantly, in a loving mood, I will give you intelligence to understand me so that you can come to me. Yenamam upayantite. So, so we have our set of intelligence, but we start understanding Krishna when he gives additional intelligence to us. Dadami buddhi yogam tvam. I give additional intelligence to you so that you can understand me, and then you can practice devotional service, bhakti yoga, and then you can come to me. So without Krishna's sanction, and Krishna, why, when will Krishna give us his additional buddhi? He gives us basis, seeing us endeavoring to remember him constantly in a loving mood. So seeing our endeavor, our effort, Krishna gives that additional intelligence. With that additional intelligence, we understand Krishna and we remember Krishna. We can come back to Krishna. So we need a specific qualification to understand any subject. So, and that is the same case is here, that knowing Sanskrit is not enough qualification to give commentary on Bhagavad Gita. Only devotees can, and devotees should explain Bhagavad Gita, nobody else. English professor, English book is written in English. She is expert in English grammar. A physics book, quantum physics book, is also written in English. Does it mean that English professor can go and start giving physics classes? No, it's a completely different subject matter. So knowing Sanskrit is not enough to know Krishna, to comment on Bhagavad Gita. So people with demoniac mentality, who wish to, demoniac means those who wish to enjoy property of Krishna by ignoring Krishna, cannot accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then they concoct something about Krishna and present a philosophy which misleads the innocent people from the path of Krishna's instructions. So those people who read those commentaries really doesn't benefit, and all their endeavors, all their efforts become waste. Hence it is important to learn this knowledge from devotees, from a proper source, who are not only preaching this, but who are not teaching this, but also trying to follow the same instructions themselves. Going forward, will Arjuna is now going to ask a question, and we always encourage questions, in uh, all our messages sent on the group. We've been encouraging everyone, and just before the class begin also, we emphasize that asking question is important, because when we speak for the entire audience, and it's a generic knowledge, it's a general, they are general instructions, they are not personalized instructions. And but when we think of applying these instructions into our life, which is unique, and each of 93 of us have unique lifestyles right now, and so the application can may require certain adjustments, and those can be suggested by devotees who are guiding us. And unless we seek those adjustments, a sincere application is not possible, because sometimes it's possible to take a instruction and apply it in our life, but most of the time it's our life may have some unique unique situations, because of which there could require an adjustment to the instruction, and that which adjustment to be done, how much to be done, what should be adjusted, what should not be, all that is told by the devotees. So we need constant devotee guidance in learning and applying Bhagavad Gita instructions in our life. This is what Arjuna is going to do, and this is what we all should do if we are sincere in learning and applying Bhagavad Gita in our life. Arjuna is saying that, Sun God Vivaswan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed this science to him? So Arjuna is putting this question before the Lord is an simply an attempt by devotee to defy the atheistic the atheistic attitude of persons who consider Krishna to be ordinary human being, subject to the modes of material nature, purport in 4.4. So taking this opportunity, now Krishna is going to reveal more about himself, which is the transcendental knowledge, which will be coming up in the next few verses. So Krishna says, starts this revealing about himself, giving personal information, which bases this question asked by Arjuna. That Arjuna is asking that you are saying you gave this knowledge to Sun God. Now Sun God is Prachin. Sun God is Prachin, and then how am I to understand that? Uh, that aparam bhavato janma param janma vivasvata vivasvata, ही अर्जुना नोज विवस्वता, कौन है विवस्वान अर्जुना जानते हैं, बट वो अर्जुना ये भी जानते हैं कि उनका जन्म तो काफी पहले से है. वी नॉट दैट पांडवों का जन्म हुआ उस वक्त से सन गॉड, सन इज राइजिंग, उसके पहले भी थे, पहले के जनरेशंस में भी सन इज देयर. सो अर्जुना अंडरस्टैंड दिस, बट दैट्स फॉर ही इज आस्किंग दैट हाउ एम आई टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस, दैट यू टोल्ड दिस नॉलेज टू सन गॉड. Now, Sadgad is Prachin, and you and I have taken birth in today's time, almost of same age. So now this gives an opportunity to for Krishna to reveal his his uh, his real nature, his true nature, to speak something about himself. Now remember, Krishna has so far not talked so much about himself. He's not, he from this section onwards, he will reveal, he's going to establish himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But up till now, Krishna has been speaking about soul and matter, basic philosophy, basic logical philosophy. But now he's going to take it deeper, this knowledge deeper, and by revealing, bringing himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, establishing himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna says that bahuni me vyatitani janmani tava charjuna tan aham veda sarvani natvam vedha parantapa. Natvam Vetha Parantapa. The personality of Godhead said, many, many births both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot, O subduer of the enemy. Ajopi sam Ajopi san avyayatma bhutanam ishwaropi san prakritim swamadhisthaya sambhavam atma mayaya. That although now continuously Krishna is speaking this verse after verse, we are just going to take a look at few verses and then we will discuss a little bit more. Now, here Krishna is saying that although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. So, this is not avatar of Vishnu. Krishna is saying, I'm appearing in my original transcendental form, and I appear in every millennium in my original form. Once a while, I appear in my original form. Otherwise, I am appearing as my incarnation. I'm as my extension. So, we'll talk about those as well, which are the types of incarnations we have. But here, she speaks something very significant. He says that Ajo is unborn and imperishable. The living entity and Lord both have these qualities, that they are both Ajo and both are imperishable. But Krishna here is revealing himself, that he's establishing that even though qualitatively the living entities and Krishna are same, but the quantitatively Krishna is far greater than even all living entities put together. So the quantity of the same qualities that Krishna possesses are far in greatness than all the living entities possesses. So it's like the heat and light comes from sun, and sun ray also possesses that heat and light in small quantity. Qualitatively, the heat and light is same as it is there in the sun, also in the sun ray. But quantitatively, the sun has so much huge quantity of heat and light that than what a single sun ray possesses. Now, that is how we understand that qualitatively we have qualities that are present also in the Ishvara or Krishna, but quantitatively we are extremely small, minute, and hence, we should be submissive and humble in front of Krishna. Krishna is not ordinary living being, he is the supreme living being. So Krishna manifests in his original form, Prakriti Swam. A king, example is given just to understand the context. A king may visit a jail on his own will, at his own will. A king jail in the kingdom is also part of his kingdom, and all those people who are suffering in jail are also his subjects. A king may want to visit on a particular day, 15th August, let me go and spend a day in jail and try and motivate those people to behave themselves and come out as early as possible and become good citizens. A king may decide at his own will, free will, to go to jail and spend some time with the prisoners over there. Now, when king visits jail, king is not bound by the rules of the jail. Now prisoner come to jail as a matter of punishment, king go to jail as matter of his own free will, and when he is in jail, he may or he may not follow the rules of the jail. There could be a rule that so and so time all the prisoners must come out, do some pity, do some jogging, do some physical activity, do some services, and then they get some food, they get some time to rest. Again, there will be some rehabilitation programs they may have to undergo. Whatever is their schedule, a king may or may not participate in some of those activities because he's not bound by the rules of the jail. Jail is ultimately under his control. But by his own free will, when he comes to the jail, he he's seen as if he's in the jail, just like prisoners are in the jail, but his position is different though he's in the jail. Similarly, when Krishna appears in the material world in his two-arm form as Sri Krishna in his original form, he is not to be misunderstood that he as a he's a original being, living being. So then why does he come and what does he do? Krishna says that in the 7 and 8, these are again famous verses. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srujamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. That whenever and wherever there is a decline in the when Krishna appears, when Krishna, whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. And what do I do? That is revealed in eighth verse. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. Another important verse, and we will go into the discussion, a detailed discussion on this aspect. And kindly pay attention. This is going to be very beautiful, very sweet part of Bhagavad Gita. We are going to discuss about Krishna. Discussing philosophy, that's great, but discussing about the Supreme Person is sweeter, very sweet. So pay attention, all of you, please. And this is a very important verse. Janma karma chame divyam evam yo vetti tattvataha tyaktvam tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti so Arjuna. Now very explicitly Krishna is saying that punarjanma nahi milega. बट पुनर्जन्म इसका मतलब नहीं मिलना चाहिए. A living entity should live his life in such a way that they don't take another body. Now, this is the secret instruction of Bhagavad Gita. This is the rahasya, that if you realize your relationship with the Supreme Lord, then you will alter your life in such a way. You will live your life in such a way that you don't have to take birth again in the material world. This is the whole program of living entities appearing in the material world. Not, they don't come here, they shouldn't just come here to get degrees, to earn money, to have houses, to purchase cars, to go on vacations, to eat in restaurants, and to have fun. Oh, well, great if you can, if you're able to manage to get some of those, great. But that is not the original program. Original program is to do activities in such a way that you don't have to take birth again in the material world. So one who knows the Krishna gives the formula to that. How can that be achieved? One who knows the transcendental divya nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world. But then what happens to us? But that also Krishna answers that, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. Now this is something striking. This is something which has not been taught to any one of us in any of the degree courses that we would have taken, be it engineering, be it medical, be it commercial, or any architect, art, whatever you probably would have studied, um, whichever PhD you would have taken, nowhere you would have probably heard of this knowledge. And that is why a lot of people says that this should be introduced right from the school, so that when children are growing up, they know the goal of life is to not make money and have build assets built in my name, and then die, leave the body thinking who will take what and who will get what and what people will do with my money, and that's not the whole point. That's the whole point, is to live life in such a way that you don't have to take birth again. And to do that, you have to understand in truth, you have to understand in tattva the appearance, the nature of Krishna's appearance, Janma and Karma. Janma and Karma. Thus, you have to understand these two things. And Krishna's Janma and then Krishna's Karma. Right from birth, Krishna appeared in the jail, Karagraha, with to Devaki and Vasudev. Immediately demonstrates his forearm form, Vishnu form. Then Vasudev says, please become a baby. I'm worried. Krishna Kamsa will come. His soldiers will get alerted. इतना सारा लाइट हो रहा है, इतने सारे ऑर्नामेंट्स है, they will know that something गड़बड़ has happened and become a small baby. Krishna becomes a small baby at his request. Then Krishna directs Vasudev, take me to Gokul. Then Vasudev lifts him and take him to Gokul. Sankarshan, Balramji comes as a as a as a as a serpent and protects him from rain. Yamuna gives way. Vasudev is easily able to cross the Yamuna, go to the other bank of the river and place Krishna in the Nanda Bhavan and return. And then there are beautiful activities of Krishna. Krishna showing Mother Yashoda the universe, the entire universe he showed to Mother Yashoda in his mouth when she accuses him of eating mud. I mean, she forced him to open his mouth, and sees the entire universe in his mouth, and gets bewildered, thinking, who is my son really? Is he really my son, or he's Vishnu himself? Should I been, मैं तो इतना सुबह शाम उसको डांटती रहती हूँ. Am I doing the right thing, or I should be really paying obeisances to my son? ये कैसा हो रहा है? क्या हो रहा है मेरे साथ? And then she faints. And when she wakes up, Krishna ensures that she has forgotten whatever she has seen. He erases all her memories so that she comes back to her normal Vatsalya bhav. And the another activity which is talked about is a rasa dance with gopis, multiple gopis, girlfriends having, isn't, and that is again an activity performed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead with his devotees, but can be easily misunderstood by everyone, by many. Also showing universal form on the battlefield to Arjuna. So his activities are bewildering, are not ordinary. None of us are capable of showing universal form. I can't even manifest another head, or another hand. I just have two. I just have to deal with two. But Arjuna explains that, and when he sees in the chapter 11, when he sees that universal form, the fearsome universal form, he says there are heads everywhere and there are hands everywhere. There's सहस्त्र अनगिनत आपके मुख है, अनगिनत आपके हाथ है. एंड यू आर प्रैक्टिकली एवरीवेयर. पूरे ब्रह्मांड में आप हो और मेरे सामने भी आप हो. एंड I'm I'm not able to see, I'm not able to see anything else other than you, O Krishna. Now this is something bewildering. So this is what is all this, and how do we understand this? Let's understand the transcendental appearance and activities of Krishna. That is going to be the subject matter for some time. I'm just doing a time check. We are at 12 o'clock almost. So, what is the meaning of the word avatar? Avatar means the avatarati iti avatar. It comes from the Sanskrit word avatarati. Avatarati is I'm on the fourth floor. When I go on the ground floor, I'm actually appearing on the ground floor. I have not taken birth on ground floor. Similarly, when Krishna is there in the spiritual world, he can come descends to the material world, which is like a ground floor. And when he comes in his original form. That's like if I'm sitting right now on the fourth floor, when I take staircase or lift and go to the ground floor, I have not changed my form. I'm just as it is going on the ground floor. But so similarly, when Krishna comes, he may come, he comes like this. He is supreme God. When he's baby, he killed Putna. When he was few days baby, he killed Putna because he doesn't have to become God after becoming big and meditating on anything or doing some sadhana. No, he is God from day one. From because that is how he has appeared. He's just walked down from the spiritual sky because why? We will find out that. But understand that he avatarati means he is simply descended from the spiritual sky as it is. He's just as it is, as he was God in the spiritual world. Similarly, he has become God. He has come down to the material world. There are six types of incarnations, and there are Purusha Avatara. We'll not get into the details, they are given here. We can, in the detailed class, we discuss these in great details. But now we just have to complete the whole chapter in 1 2 hours time. So we also have limitations, but we can do those question answer sessions towards the end. If anybody is interested, you can send me a separate question and we can find
अनम्यूट हो
out
गया. क्या हो
more
रहा है?
about it.
म्यूट हो गया, अनम्यूट हो गया.
Yeah, Shivam Ravji, yeah, stay on mute, everyone, please. So, why Krishna appears? Now, let's discuss some questions about appearance and activities about Krishna. Now, why Krishna appears? Why at all he comes down? He's in the spiritual world, material world is here. Why at all he has to come down? What is the purpose? The purpose, primary purpose, and there is a secondary purpose. Primary purpose is to please or satisfy, make his devotees happy. How? When Krishna comes, he perform leela, pastimes with his dear devotees, and that gives great pleasure, the greatest pleasure to his devotees who are participating in those leela. Which who is the devotee participating in a Vatsalya leela with Krishna? Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba. because they wanted Krishna as their son. They performed so much penance and austerities that Krishna agreed to become their son, and he chose Nanda Baba and Yashoda as his father and mother for spending his childhood in Gokul in Vrindavan. So so when Nanda Baba and Yashoda gets opportunity to play part of Krishna's parents, now this is how a Leela gets developed and gets progresses. So secondary purpose. I will talk about Leela in the second section, but the secondary purpose is to destroy demons. Destroy demon is not Krishna's job. He can destroy anyone, any time, any moment. For that, he doesn't even have to come from spiritual world to material world. His energies are unlimited and his power is unlimited. His presence is everywhere. He's omnipresent, omnipotent. He can do anything. So he's killing demons is very small job for him. For that, he does not come. So that is a secondary purpose. Why that he has to do that also? That also we will talk. So demons are the ones who wish to enjoy Krishna's property without Krishna. By eliminating Krishna, they want to enjoy Krishna's property. So those are demons. All of us are demons. We all have been doing that for all these years. So we'll not go into the go into that discussion, but all are just for we all have those demoniac tendencies. Therefore we have taken birth in the material world, and by learning Bhagavad Gita we are trying to purify and rectify ourselves and cure ourselves of those tendencies. But for that we need to constantly study Bhagavad Gita every day. So what is a leela or what is a pastime? Leela means a play or an act involving Lord and his dear devotees. Now, Lord chooses, Yogamaya chooses his devotees. The best of devotees get chosen to play different parts in a Leela. लीला इज लाइक अ प्ले, जैसे नाटिका होती है, सो वैसे प्ले होता है. कृष्णा कम्स एंड प्ले अ पार्ट, and other devotees play their respective parts. The Mother Yashoda, Nanda Baba will play part of the elderly parents. Radhika, Radharani, and her Gopi friends they play part of loving lover girls. Gopa friends they part of friends who want to play with Krishna, who want to wrestle with Krishna. Krishna is part of their team. They can chastise Krishna. So they have different moods. According to those moods they are given different roles. Now Krishna also play a part. When he comes, he just doesn't come and do nothing. No, he comes to enjoy, he comes to relish those, by playing of those roles in the pastime. And Krishna give up his superior position and come down in the material world and accept whatever role that is offered to him by Yogamaya. So Yogamaya may may want, now Maya want Maya, Mother Yashoda wants Krishna as as her son. Now as a son, she need to forget that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, so that she can rectify Krishna when Krishna does something wrong. So Lord play a role as desired by his devotees, forgetting or voluntarily giving up his superior position. Lord do whatever that is necessary to increase intensity of loving exchange or rasa of a relationship. We'll talk about that in a while. Now, here see in the picture, a mother, Yashoda, Maya Yashoda is running behind Krishna with a stick in her hand, and Krishna is running ahead. Now, Krishna, who is Ananta Koti Brahmanda Nayak, who is created this whole Brahmanda and many such universes, is becoming fearful because he stole some butter. He broke some pots. Now, this is astonishing, not understood by anyone. The people can't understand, if at all Krishna is God, why he has to go and steal something. God should be owning and controlling everything. So if he wants to eat butter, and why at all he wants to eat butter, makhan क्यों खाना है? It's an ordinary thing. But if at all he wants that, but why he has to steal? If does he not have enough opulence? But Krishna, now that he, the Maya Nanda Baba had 9 lakh cows in his house, and Krishna had abundant milk and milk related products in his house. But still, he used to go to the other homes and steal butter. Why? Because that was giving pleasure to those gopis. So, Krishna is doing anything and everything to give pleasure to his devotees, so that the intensity of rasa is increased and maximized. Now, how such pastimes or leelas are performed. Now, the devotees and Lord, they get so much engrossed in performing the leela that they completely forget about Krishna's supreme position. Maya Yashoda consider Krishna as his baby, as her baby, and when she hears that Krishna has started stealing butter from the other homes, she becomes worried. She's not now thinking, because her knowledge about Krishna's supremacy has to be covered. Then only she can think in this way. That she starts thinking that if Krishna is such a small boy, I have so much milk and curd in my home, so much makhan in my home. And despite of that, Krishna is going to other people's homes and stealing butter from there. How is it good? What am I doing as a mother? What is my duty? My duty is to discipline my child. अगर वो ऐसे ही चोरी करेगा, आज छोटी चोरी कर रहा है, कल जाके बड़ी चोरी करेगा, माई सन विल बिकम बिग थीफ, बड़ा चोर बन जाएगा बड़ा होके, एंड देन हु विल गिव हिज डॉटर टू माई सन? ऐसे लुच्चे चोर लुफंगे को कौन अपनी लड़की देगा? Now this is what Maya Yashoda is thinking. Why? Because she is in that Vatsalya rasa. She is relishing her Vatsalya mood with Krishna, and Krishna is allowing that to happen. If he were to just demonstrate his supremacy, then immediately Maya will start paying obeisances to her, thinking that she made such a gross error in thinking of punishing Krishna or disciplining Krishna. Why should I discipline Krishna? Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Let him do whatever he want. Let him break whosoever spot he want, howsoever pot. Who let him eat whatever he wants. And she would have started paying obeisances. But that would have become a that would have just पूरा डिस्ट्रॉय कर देता रसा. जो रस है, जो वात्सल्य रस that Krishna is enjoying as a baby, Maya is enjoying as a mother, it could have become spoiled that whole mood. It would have spoiled the whole mood. Therefore, Krishna doesn't reveal his supremacy and just act like a normal small baby. So this gives highest pleasure to both of them, to Lord as well as to his devotees. And those who are aware of his greatness, if you become too much aware of about his greatness, then they are not able to participate in such intimate pastimes. Krishna's greatness versus Krishna's sweetness. Lord is great, and his its awareness that how great he is. We will see later some prayers by Bhishma Dev about his greatness, just to get a glimpse about how to understand. This looks to be a small boy, but how do we understand this small looking cute boy, and who is really he is? So Krishna is great, and his awareness that he is great make us humble and submissive towards him, brings invoke awe and reverence in us, and we become wow. Krishna is so great. Krishna, that is Krishna. Oh wow. And that wow factor comes in us, and that makes us humble in front of him, submissive in front of him. But Krishna is just not great, he's sweet also. Now, when we study, when we listen to about his sweet pastimes with his devotees, with Mother Yashoda, with Radharani, with his Gopa friends, our attraction and love towards him increases. It invokes love and attraction towards him. Now, if we want to remember Krishna throughout our life, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha. That's the instruction. We want to remember Krishna all the time. And if you want to remember him at the moment of our death also, then we need to have some attraction towards Krishna, and those that attraction get developed when we discuss his pastimes with his devotees that he performs. So the purpose of Leela is also to give pleasure to the existing devotees who are participating in the pastime, and also by discussing these pastimes, the future generations can develop loving attraction towards Krishna, and therefore they're motivated to take up devotional service and go back to Krishna. They will develop a desire to go back to Krishna only when they know Krishna. They know about Krishna. So the the example of his greatness is his universal form, seeing which even Arjuna got scared. Arjuna got scared and he's saying that आप कौन हो. अर्जुना ओनली रिक्वेस्ट कृष्णा आप बताइए मुझे वो यूनिवर्सल फॉर्म जो फेमस मैंने सुना है काफी लोगों से बट मैंने कभी देखा नहीं है. 11वें चैप्टर में दैट रिक्वेस्ट अर्जुना विल मेक टू कृष्णा एंड seeing his universal form Arjuna becomes so scared that he start paying obeisances to him forgetting that he's his friend. मतलब उनका तो ड्राइवर है उसको क्यों प्रणाम कर रहे हो, दंडवत करने लगा और डर के मारे बोलने लगा कि आप कौन हो रियली, हु आर यू, आई कैनॉट रिकॉग्नाइज यू नाउ, यू जस्ट प्लीज इफ यू आर सेम कृष्णा कम बैक टू दैट टू harm form. I don't want to see this horrible form of yours. I'm completely scared. So that is his opulence. Now seeing his opulence is greatness. One may become immediately humble and submissive towards him. And but his acceptance of inferior position as a small child while playing his role in the Damodar Lila is an example of his sweetness. He gets there's a beautiful story that Krishna was playing with his friends, and Nanda Baba came back home in the afternoon for lunch, and Maya Yashoda shouted, went at her doorstep and shouted, Krishna, come back, it's time for you to have lunch, just like it happens in ordinary household. And Krishna is relishing this vatsalya mood of his parents. So he's also behaving like a small child, and he's playing with his friends there, and the friend says देखो गेम तो खत्म होने ही हुआ है, अगर तुम आज अभी भाग के चले गए, ये गेम आधा छोड़ के अगर तुम चले गए, then from tomorrow onwards we are not playing with you. Now Krishna is stunned. मेरे दोस्त मुझसे नहीं खेलेंगे ऐसा बोल रहे हैं, और वहां पे मैया चिल्ला रही है, मैं
बिस्किट
यहाँ
काट दो.
रुकूंगा तो वहां मार पड़ेगी, वहां जाऊंगा तो
काय
फ्रेंड्स नहीं खेलेंगे. सो व्हाट
त्याच्यातच काढू त्यानं.
दिस
तू
इज
हे कुकर कुकर ठेवी त्याच्यावर.
या so this is uh sorry about that. Yeah, so this is how Krishna is playing his role. This is as a sweet is this is his sweet, this is example of his sweetness, that despite of being such a great personality, the same Krishna, when he's playing his part in the Leela, he's behaving like a small ordinary child, and that is his sweetness. Now that sweetness in help us develop our attraction towards him. A champion wrestler who is very ferocious in the wrestling ring, defeats opponent after opponent. When he come back home, his little son
हा
wants
चांगला नाही
to
का? तू
wrestle
खाल्ला
with
का?
him. Then he does not take lot of pride in showing his power to his little son. वो क्या करेगा, क्या करेगा, he will also wrestle, he will show that he's wrestling with his son, but he will get defeated by his son. Why? He's not interested in showing how powerful he is, how many tricks he know. All that is there for his opponents when he's playing in the actual match. There he will show his power and his opulence. But when he's saying he's playing the same wrestling match with his son, small son, no, he happily get defeated and he gets a lot of pleasure in that defeat. But and his son also becomes happy, he becomes happy. सन ऐसे करता है एंड वो गिर जाता है एंड सन बोलता है कि देखो तुम तो चैंपियन रेसलर है, मैंने तुम्हें हरा दिया, एंड ही आल्सो सेज यस यस तुमने मुझे हरा दिया. एंड दैट इज हाउ द ब्यूटीफुल पास टाइम हैपेंस at home. And similarly Krishna is performing pastime with his devotees in the Vrindavan. Benefits. Why should we learn about God? Taktva deham punarjanma naiti mamiti, so Arjuna. Punarjanma nahi milega. Now, let's understand this little bit in more detail. By hearing descriptions of such wonderful pastime, our attraction increases towards the Lord. This shows us a trailer or a glimpse of what happens in Golok Vrindavan, which is home of abode of Krishna. Rendering devotional services to Krishna is much easier to anyone who knows about Krishna, knows this background information about Krishna. He know about how great Krishna is. He know how sweet Krishna is. And with this knowledge, when they perform devotional service, they can become fixed in their service to the Lord. Their services then are no more flickering in nature. They are consistently, they can consistently, in difficult times, in happy times, they are able to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. They are able to render some service. They are able to read Bhagavad Gita. They are able to read Bhagavatam, and they are able to develop their loving affection towards Krishna. So, so this shows. So hence, such a devotee do not have to take birth in the material world, because they will go back to Krishna, developing their attraction towards Krishna. The second section we will talk about is accurate understanding. We have a acronym here, discussing acronym here. So we eternity of knowledge is what we just concluded, where we discussed that how this knowledge was not freshly concocted. It is, and what is that knowledge? Krishna reveals himself in that section of Bhagavad Gita as the Lord God, or the supreme God of the all the living entities, of all living entities, and how knowing about him will save everyone from taking birth again in the material world. So that, why? Because they will be able to go back to abode of Krishna and stay there eternally. Will Krishna will reveal about these aspects, which we may not understand it right now, but these aspects are revealed much later in the Bhagavad Gita, from 7 and 8 and 9 chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So even if you don't follow it completely, it's okay. Let's hear this and let's move forward to a more practical section. ये यथा माम प्रपद्यन्ते तां तथैव भजाम्यहम् मम वर्तमा अनुवर्तन्ते मनुष्यः पार्थ सर्वशः. Now, here Krishna is saying something very critical, very important. One of the most important verses in Bhagavad Gita is this 4.11, that as all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects of son of Pratha. चातुर्वर्ण मया चातुर्वर्ण्यम मया सृष्टम गुणकर्म विभागशः तस्या कर्तारम अपि माम विद्य Vidhyakarta akartaram avyayam. According to the three modes of material nature, we discussed them briefly in the previous section, that sattva, rajo, and tamoguna, these are the three modes of material nature, and the work associated with them. The four divisions of human society are created by me. And although I am the creator of this system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. Then namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spruha. What is Krishna saying here is, there is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of the work. Again, we'll touch upon those aspects: greatness versus sweetness, and beyond greatness is his sweetness, which makes Krishna all attractive, sweet, lovable, and everyone would Krishna likes to reciprocate perfectly. One of his quality is he is able to reciprocate perfectly with everyone. And to know Krishna and to know about Krishna are different things. Devotees know Krishna. His loving devotees know Krishna, and we right now are trying to know about Krishna. Example is a doctor. When he examines a child, he know about the child. He doesn't know the child yet, but he know about the child. He will know various details about that child. What is his pulse rate? What is his heart rate? What is his blood group? What are the different hemoglobin? How much is the blood analysis, etc. He will come to know about the child. But on the other hand, child's mother does not know any of this information, but she knows the child, as she is having a loving relationship with the child. If a doctor wants to have know the child, doctor must also have a personal relationship with him. We are comparing this with knowledge about Krishna. We currently knowing Krishna and knowing about Krishna are two different things. If we want to know Krishna, we need to develop a relationship with Krishna. Just like if a doctor wants to know this child, he can keep a chocolate in his dispensary. Whenever the child comes, he can offer a chocolate to the child. He can have an informal chat with the child, and then that is how in over a course of time a relationship may get developed, so which requires an active effort on the part of doctor to do that. Otherwise it's not going to happen. Two quick examples is a brain surgeon may know about everything about the brain function of his wife. If his wife is upset with him, he may run various scans on his wife to find out what really is wrong and which chemicals are appearing where, which is what is upsetting his wife. But this is like knowing about his wife. If he could be a brain surgeon, could be a great brain expert, he may know about wife, that by that this 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 particular scan show this much, this thing, these parameters are off, this is off, that is off. Then all that will not lead to a conclusion why his wife is upset with him. For that he has to have a human relationship with him, with her, and he has to go and ask her, probably, whether he has forgotten her anniversary or birthday or her mother's birthday or whatever. Why is she upset with him? He can't figure it out why his wife is upset with him by running various brain scans. A heart specialist and heartbroken spouse, none of those x-rays or any test that will reveal to that heart specialist why his wife or her wife is heartbroken. So that can be revealed only through development of a relationship. So knowledge about Krishna is transformational. So knowledge about Krishna is transformation. So uh, the two verses, why knowledge about Krishna is meant to transform us. So we are currently learning about Krishna, and by learning about Krishna, we are expected to transform our life according to the instructions given by Krishna. The beautiful two verses we've quoted, in the many in the later section, but 10.8, where Krishna says, it's Chaturshloki Bhagavad Gita. The first verse is this 8, 9, 10, 11. The entire Bhagavad Gita is summarized in these four verses. So 8 says that Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo Mattah Sarvam Pravartate. I'm Everything emanates from me. I'm everywhere, and everything is emanating from me alone. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mattah sarvam pravartate. And iti matva bhajante mam. Anybody who knows about my greatness like this, iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha, that they immediately start worshipping me, and they are considered to be the wise. Buddha means wise. Similarly, in the 15th chapter, 19th verse, Krishna says, Yomam evam asam mudho janati पुरुषोत्तम. If you know, अगर आप जान गए कि मैं पुरुषोत्तम हूँ, मैं उत्तम पुरुष मैं हूँ, and I am only the worshipable object in this entire universe, in this entire creation. After ये knowledge से क्या होना चाहिए? स सर्वविद भजती इमाम सर्व भावे न भारता. दैट ये नॉलेज लेके भूल नहीं जाना है, ये नॉलेज लेके छोड़ नहीं देना है. ये नॉलेज अच्छा है, मैं किसी कभी बोल दूंगा, ये नहीं करना है. बट ये नॉलेज लेके हमको अपनी लाइफ एक्टिविटीज ट्रांसफॉर्म करनी है, चेंज करनी है, अवर लाइफ के वैल्यूज चेंज करने हैं, अवर लाइफ का गोल चेंज करना है, अवर लाइफ के एक्टिविटीज चेंज करनी है. बुधा, सो दैट आई कैन स्टार्ट worshipping Krishna with sarva bhavena, with all my emotions, all my heart. So Krishna is complete. He doesn't require anything from anyone. He does not need butter. He's happy. He's called Atmaram. Atmaram is complete with one's own self. It does not dependent on anyone else for happiness, or neither in the one of the verse Krishna has just mentioned that neither he must achieve anything. So there is no reason for him to do action. When we act in our life, we either want something or we want to fulfill some of our desires. We need to, if when we have a need, we act. We don't act for nothing. Even if we have a need to help somebody, we act. Or we want to achieve something, we act. But Krishna act only out of pure love for his devotees. He doesn't need anything. He has everything. He's complete. He doesn't have any aspirations also. Doesn't have any other desires also. But still he acts for giving pleasure to his devotee out of pure love of his devotees, for his devotees. So knowing his greatness, sweetness, and his love for us, we can also direct our heart towards him. That is what is supposed to happen to anyone who studies Bhagavad Gita. Uh, and when we do that, Krishna reciprocate with us. We are discussing 4.11 where Krishna reciprocates. So how exactly Krishna reciprocates in the Vrindavan pastimes? So in any relationship between two persons, there must be mutual. It should be mutual need. Now both persons should find each other, find need to have relationship with each other. Now two friends should feel the need to have friendship with each other, should value each other as they are, and should have love and appreciation for each other. So this should be mutual. If one has these aspects and the other person does not have, it's not called a relationship. It's only a one way relationship. So it's not very fulfilling, it's not very pleasing. So it should be mutual. So where both the parties should feel that they need the other person, they value that other person, and they are appreciative of what that other person is doing for me. Now these three things, when they are missing in the relationship, we have toxic relationship. I get many questions from many people that what do I do, how do I deal with my toxic relationship? A relationship will become toxic when we don't have these when mutually, both parties don't feel these three things for each other. Then we have a toxic relationship. Now Krishna is so great, and we know he doesn't need anything from anyone, and he is completely satisfied with himself. Then how is he able to you know uh, reciprocate? How can anyone ever have any relationship with him properly? We don't want to have a relationship where with someone who doesn't need, where we are not needed, where we are not valued, where our contribution is not appreciated. It's not a very healthy relationship. We'll not have a very good feeling about that relationship, where we are not needed, felt needed, where we are not valued and we are not appreciated. No, why will we stay in such a relationship for a long time? But devotees of Krishna don't and if that's quite likely to happen. If anybody who is trying to create relationship with Krishna, why will Krishna need that person? Why will Krishna value that person's presence? And why will Krishna appreciate that person's contribution to him when he doesn't need anything? So Krishna can do that when he give up his supremacy and become ordinary, behave like an ordinary person. So when Krishna sees that someone is directing their love towards him, he happily reciprocates to make us feel needed, valued, and appreciated. Hungry Krishna for butter. The Damodar Leela pastime, Krishna, uh, mother was feeding Krishna her breast milk, and she suddenly remembers that she was boiling milk on the gas for making some sweets for Krishna. So she immediately keeps Krishna down and rushes towards the kitchen to save the milk. And seeing that Krishna is still just woken up from sleep, he's still not finished drinking milk from his mother, and mother has kept him down, and becomes angry Krishna. We say that hungry Krishna now became angry Krishna. And what does he do? He goes run inside the house. Whatever he see, he breaks. Whatever pots he see, he breaks, and then creates a ruckus inside the home. And by the time Maya comes back, he has broken many pots and created a big mess in the entire home. The curd is coming out, and the milk is flowing, and then he's sitting inside, all in the middle of all that, in an angry mood, is looking at his mother. Now, if Krishna is Atmaram, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, then unless, why will he feel angry? He feel angry because he taking the inferior position for the pleasure of his devotee. Unless he takes that inferior role, how his mother is going to feel that she has fed Krishna? How his mother is going to feel that she has disciplined Krishna? As a son, when mother has a son, mother wants to do all these things with her son. She does not want a perfect son who doesn't need a mother. What's the use of such a relationship where you don't feel, as a mother, you are not needed? you don't you're not needed, you're not valued, you're not appreciated, because her son seems to be, uh, her son is Supreme Personality of Godhead. He not doesn't become hungry, so she can't even feed him her breast milk. She can't cook for him, she can't feed him with different recipes. What is the use of such a mother son relationship where mother is not valued, mother is not needed, mother is not appreciated? It's no relationship at all. And what pleasure such relationship will give? Now this will also become, in the material world, the toxic relationship, where a son treats mother like you're not needed, you're not valued, not appreciated. Very horrible, horrible kind of a relationship for a mother to experience that kind of a thing. So Krishna's greatness is that he happily takes that inferior position to let his devotee feel how valued they are, how needed they are, and how much loved they are, how much big influence that they are playing in Krishna's life, that without their presence Krishna could have been in such a big mess. Krishna used to sleep with Nanda Baba and used to get scared when they used to hear thundering cloud in the middle of night, and then Nanda Baba used to cuddle him very closely, hold him close to his chest. Now, unless Krishna gets, why will Krishna get scared? Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, but he gets scared in his while playing a role of a son, so that he is able to give pleasure to his father. So this knowledge about Krishna, with this knowledge about Krishna, we can get devoted to Krishna. At this stage, we offer all our activities to Krishna for his pleasure. Now, knowing this is tattva behind his appearance and his pastime. And if we can know this, we are not just doing bhakti. Bhakti doesn't become part of our life. Bhakti can become our life. Bhakti to Lord Krishna can become our life, and it's part of our life. It's like we are requesting everyone to devote 2 hours every Sunday for hearing Bhagavad Gita. So bhakti is part of our life. For rest of the time of the week, we are doing what we want. We are not doing what Krishna is wanting us to do. But later, when we hear these pastimes repeatedly, when we understand this Krishna in the tattva, and how much lovingly Krishna is reciprocating with all of us in our way, in his own way, how much influence Krishna is having on our life. When we know that, we are able to direct our heart towards Him, and then we can increase our devotion to Krishna. We can increase our devotional activities for Krishna, and then bhakti no longer remains part of our life. 1 hour in a day, bhakti becomes our life, and so bhakti assumes majority of our life, and then we do other things as they are needed. So this help us live Krishna conscious life, and that is perfection of human birth. This makes all our activities karma free, reaction free. Like soldier killing on the battlefield get reward, but if he kills in the neighborhood, he get punishment. So is Krishna responsible for the suffering in this world that we all experience? Krishna is a pradhana karan, or ultimate cause, but he's not a nimitic karan. Like, though there is a system, a king may establish a system that everyone should stop when they see red signal, and they should drive when they see green signal. But if one does not know this, or knowingly one breaks the rule and drives when the signal is red, and then he get caught and get punished, who is responsible? Now, Nimittik, he himself is responsible because he is the Nimitta Matra. He is the immediate cause. Despite of seeing red signal, he has driven. Now, that is a immediate cause. Maybe he is not aware or he knew and despite of that he drove. Now, that is a nimittic cause. Now, nimittic or immediate cause is the primary reason for the suffering. He may get caught, he may get fined, he may be put in jail if he's done something terribly wrong. So all that, those who are suffering in this world, they're suffering because of their immediate actions, and the reactions of those are uh, because of the reactions of those immediate actions. Everyone had a choice not to do those actions, wrong actions. Now those wrong actions we've been doing lifetime after lifetime, for millions of lifetime. And hence, when we get a bad reaction today, we can't put a finger on which wrong activity because of which this bad reaction is coming. Just like if we get malaria, we get affected by malaria, diagnosed as malaria patient, we can't put a finger on which mosquito because of whom we've been given this disease. All we can do is to decide on how best I can take protection now, how I can be more cautious now, how I can get cured now, how I can regain my strength now, how I can overcome this sickness and get to the fitness. I should be only worried about that aspect, not thinking about which mosquito bit me because of whom I got this malaria, and how I can take revenge against that mosquito. That's not the point. Point is to understand, rectify my current actions and get to the purification, get to the cured stage. So having created this system of karma and karma phala, Krishna is always going to be responsible, but he's ultimate responsible, ultimate cause. So, but if anyone perform bad karma and get suffering, that is not Krishna's responsibility. He is given knowledge, he is given Bhagavad Gita. Everyone is expected to learn Bhagavad Gita and act according to the instructions of Bhagavad Gita. So, and that's how one can avoid getting reactions of bad karma, because one should not perform bad karma at all if one act according to the instructions of Bhagavad Gita. How exactly Krishna reciprocates? Krishna, so reciprocity of Krishna is not his partiality, but is a proof of his personality. Just like law of gravity is not reciprocal. Even if I throw a stone, it will fall down. But if a child jumps from the terrace of a building, the child will also fall down. The law is not reciprocal, but Krishna is a person. That is a proof of his personality. Because he's reciprocal, this is the proof about his personality. So knowledge about him can transform us to direct our feelings towards him. And when this take this effort, Krishna make us feel needed, valued, and suitably reciprocating with us. So in our way, in our life also, we can be felt, we will be felt valued, we will be felt needed, and we will be appreciated. When we do something for Krishna, we can get this experience, and very easily, by doing something for Krishna. We need to rush in about the R, removing reactions. Now, this is a very important section. कर्मणो यपि बोधव्यम बोधव्यम च विकर्मणः अकर्मणश्च बोधव्यम गहना कर्मणो गतिः. Intricacies of actions are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. Now, Gahna Karmanogati is the title. Now, working, these are examples. Briefly, we spoke. We'll quickly go through those. Some examples: cashier is receiving and issuing lakhs of rupees in cash in bank. But the moment, but everything is meant for bank. It's not his. But if he takes something in his home, he's punished. A soldier, killing hundreds, he is allowed to kill hundreds of people, hundreds of other army soldier on the battlefield. But even if he kills one neighbor, he'll be punished, he'll be arrested. Similarly, Arjuna fighting for Dharma Yuddha on behalf of Krishna, whereas Duryodhana was fighting a war for his own selfish plan. So there is a difference. So though Arjuna fought and killed many, he was not incurring sin. The science of karma. We make our destiny, by our karma. Destiny determines the consequences of our action, not our action themselves. There is a conversation between Dhritarashtra and Vidura, where Vidura was requesting Dhritarashtra to prevent, to ask Duryodhana to give those 5 villages to Pandava and avoid war somehow. Now, Dhritarashtra was not willing to speak with Duryodhana. He is saying, you are king. You are so-called king and it is your job to protect your kingdom. And if you push your kingdom into the war, a lot of people will unnecessarily get killed. Just by giving 5 villages, if you are able to avoid war, why are you not taking that action? Now, Dhritarashtra says, I can't instruct Duryodhana. He will just not listen to me. And moreover, if it is destined that the war is going to happen, who am I to stop it? What is I am such a small living entity. If it is destined that the war is supposed to happen, who am I to stop it? This time Vidura says that destiny, don't take shelter of destiny by justifying your inaction. You're king and you're supposed to take action when it is needed. What is your duty? You must do. Don't blame it on destiny. Whatever is, despite of whatever the destiny is, you are supposed to do your duty. He says destiny determines the consequences of our action, not our action themselves. You may you are supposed to act. You are a king. You are supposed to protect your kingdom. If it is still destined to that the war should happen, it will still happen. But then at least you would be satisfied that you did your part. Right now you're not doing your duty. That has got nothing to do with the destiny. You're supposed to do your duty, and then if it is still destined that the war should take place, war will happen. And all these people, if they are supposed to get killed, they will get killed. But at least you would have done your part. Now that is important lesson for all of us, that we shouldn't be worried too much about destiny. So there are two vad, karmavad, and there is a daivavad. Sorry. Now karmavad think that everything is in my hand, and the daivavad decides that nothing is in my hand. Now both are wrong. Nothing is in our hand and both everything is in our hand. The balance lies somewhere in between. We have to do our part. Now Dhritarashtra should have done his duty of telling Duryodhana, who was his son, also he is the king, so he is his subject. So as a king, you're supposed to instruct the people in your kingdom to do act in the right way. And just by giving 5 villages, if this war could have been avoided, Dhritarashtra should have done that as a king, in his capacity as a king. So as a capacity as as a king, he's supposed to do this. And because he didn't do it, that he's blaming karma or destiny is not justified. Similarly, if we are caught in situations where sometimes we feel I have to do everything, and sometimes we feel that I cannot do anything. In both circumstances, we are wrong. The balance has to be in between, that we have to do our part and then accept whatever the outcome that comes. Another beautiful story. We'll not discuss this in detail, but here, this is a time when after the war gets over, Dhritarashtra goes to Bhishmacharya. Dhritarashtra is refusing to accept kingdom and become king. राज्याभिषेक करने से ही मना कर रहा है, बोले मेरे कारण इतने सारे लोग मर गए, and so many families have got destroyed, and I my lust for kingdom is the only reason why this all has happened. Otherwise I could have easily avoided all this killing taking place. So Yudhishthir is refusing. Everyone trying to convince him, no, no, you should become king. This is your duty. Now there is Dhritarashtra nahi hai. Dhritarashtra will be. We cannot become king. Duryodhan nahi hai, and you must become king. You are the righteous person. Everyone is trying to convince him, and Krishna says finally, Bhishma Dev is there, is on the Sharashayya. You should go and ask him this question: that should you or should you not become king? And he should be able to guide you. He should be able to tell you. Now we are saying, then Yudhishthir along with the Pandavas goes to Bhishma, and who is just about to give up his body. Bhishma immediately sees Krishna and start glorifying him. He says, "You are the creator and destroyer of all things. Everything material and spiritual emanates from and rests upon you eternally. I can now see your universal form and with all its divine attributes. I take refuge in you, O Lord, and beseech your mercy. Tell me, O all powerful Supreme Person, what will be best for me now? I desire only to reach your blissful abode." What a beautiful prayer. Now, this paragraph explains how great Krishna is. Even if even when he's stealing butter, he's this great. The same Krishna, the same person is acting there as a butter thief, as a dancer with gopis, or get defeated by his gopa friends. He's the same Lord. This is his attribute. This is the same he who give up his own supreme position and for the pleasure of his devotees become a small person, become a small boy, become a someone who can easily be defeated by gopis in argument, and who says, "I can't repay the love of these gopis," who becomes helpless in front of his gopa friends if they say that they will not play with him from tomorrow, and who gets scared by seeing the stick in the hand of his mother. He's the same Lord. But Bhishma Dev explains further that he turns to Yudhishthir saying that, "Oh Yudhishthir, what terrible sufferings and injustice you good souls have been suffered, even though you are the son of religion personified. But why you were saved? Only because you were protected by Brahmanas, religion, and Supreme Lord Himself did you manage to survive. Otherwise, you would have all got killed in history itself." So Bhishma spoke reassuringly, trying to dispel Yudhishthira's despondency by pointing out how he was under divine protection, saying that everything was going on according to the Supreme Lord's will, and no one should grieve for such inevitabilities. Bhishma turned his head slightly and fixed his gaze on Krishna. It is this divine and unknowable Krishna who controls everything. Time is simply his energy. Surely, even the greatest seers and rishis cannot understand his plans. Despite their exhaustive inquiries about Krishna's activities, they remain bewildered. O Yudhishthir, best amongst the Bharatas, I therefore maintain that all this destruction is within the Supreme Lord's plan. Accepting his inconceivable will, you must follow it. And you are now appointed. Then he said, "You are appointed as the administrative head. Then you should take care of those who subjects who have been rendered helpless. You should become king." That's the instruction Bhishma gives to Yudhishthir. Let's understand what is in it for us. Actions must be performed by keeping Krishna at the center for his pleasure and as a service to him. This is the ultimate instructions. This is the ultimate instruction. At our level, we may not be able to do all that, but let's understand at our level what's happening. Whatever actions we do, we get results. Those results could be good, bad, ugly. Suddenly a disease come up from nowhere. Suddenly we fall sick. We health deteriorates. Suddenly our business goes into losses. Suddenly our relationships becomes sore. Suddenly our people walk out of our relationships. Suddenly we have everything and suddenly we seems to be not having anything. We go from top, we come to the bottom in our emotions. So there are various things that we experience on day-to-day basis. So the result, these are the results that we experience, must be accepted. As it was told to Yudhishthir, we all should accept the results as sanctioned by Lord as per his plans, which no one can understand. Now, these are the things which I picked up from the Bhishma Dev's commentary or his instructions to Yudhishthir. What then we can do? Mitigation or efforts to improve the situation should be done to the best of our abilities. So whatever situation we get ourselves into, let us try to make that better to the best of our ability. Finally, the results are still not as per our desire, then we must learn to tolerate the as it is will of the Lord. So accept, mitigate, and tolerate is the mantra for happiness in this chaotic world. We may be desiring a BMW car, Mercedes car, and we are given Maruti Swift Desire car. Both are not comparable. But whatever we have, we should accept it as a will of the Lord. And we should try to mitigate it, make it as best as, trying to maintain it as much as we can. We can try to bring some improvements in that car. By no amounts of improvements, it can become BMW or Mercedes Benz. We should know that. However, it doesn't mean that just because it is not BMW and Mercedes, I should destroy that car. I should stop using that car. No, I can use it. I can maintain it to the best of my abilities. I can improve it to the best of my abilities. I can do whatever I can to improve the condition of that car. And even if there will still be a difference because it still cannot become BMW, if there is still distress, it's still causing me any distress, I should tolerate that. So accept, mitigate to the best of, to the, whatever way you can, and tolerate is the mantra for happiness. The fourth lesson is sacrifice. From verse 25 to 33, different types of sacrifices are explained, and how it culminates into the yagya, is to the jnana. And for jnana, a guru is recommended. Krishna says, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanena tattva darshana. For jnana, you should approach a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, and pranipatena, pariprashnena, inquire from him submissive way, and he will give you the truth. He will guide you. He will give you the knowledge because he has seen the truth. Text 36, when Krishna says that even if you are considered to be the most sinful of all sinners, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of misery. So the knowledge, the faith and the knowledge, importance of knowledge is highlighted in this. That transcendental knowledge, if you have, with that knowledge you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. So knowledge, cultivating knowledge is important. And how you will get knowledge? By approaching a bona fide spiritual master or a devotee in our life, by seeking instructions in a submissive, humble way. We can get knowledge from the guru because they have been they have got the knowledge from Krishna. The Dami Buddhi Yogam Tvam, that has happened with them. So the Krishna has been pleased with their endeavors, and therefore Krishna has given them additional intelligence, and with that additional intelligence they are able to understand Krishna better, and because they possess Krishna they can give Krishna to us. Therefore we should have devotees in our life for inquiring, for asking them questions about our life, about situations in our life, about difficulties that we are going through in our life, and how should we respond to those situations, that we should understand from devotees. As a blazing fire turns firewood into ashes, O Arjuna, so does the fire of knowledge burns into ashes all reactions of material activities. So knowledge can not only save you from making fresh mistakes, but also can save you from past mistakes, help you burn all the material activities from the past. In this world, there is nothing so sublime and pure as transcendental knowledge. Such knowledge is mature fruit of all mysticism, and one who has become accomplished in the practice of devotional science enjoy this knowledge within himself in due course of time. Then two verses, Krishna says that a faithful man who's dedicated. Now again, the two paths, two actions, two results. If you are faithful, श्रद्धावान लभते ज्ञानम तत्पर संयतेन्द्रिय ज्ञानम लब्ध्वा परम शांति चिरेण अधिगच्छति. That if you are faithful and following instructions of received from a devotee, this will happen to you. What will happen? A faithful man who is dedicated to the transcendental knowledge and who's subdued his senses, who's eligible to eligible to achieve such knowledge, and having achieved it, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. He get param shanti. Jnanam labdhvat param shanti. So achirena means very quickly he will get. So Shraddhavana labhate jnanam. If you have faith, you will get knowledge. And by knowledge, you will attain supreme peace. Now, what happens to the faithless person? The one who does not have faith, one who is ignorant and faithless person who doubt the revealed scriptures, do not attain God consciousness. They fall down. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world or the next. So if you are faithful, you will gain knowledge, you will attain supreme peace. If you are faithless, you there is no happiness for you in this world or the next, in this life or the next life. So these are the stages of how we progress. We all started this journey of studying Bhagavad Gita because we have some faith in Krishna, because we have faith in some instructions given by Krishna. We would have heard about Bhagavad Gita from devotees. Therefore, we developed that अगर उसमें कुछ तो है, अगर कुछ knowledge है, तो maybe by approaching that I can be benefited. So we have some minute faith, some minute shraddha. Now with that shraddha, we are doing sadhu sangha. We are associating with devotees now and listening from them about Bhagavad Gita. The devotees will try to engage you in bhajana kriya. Bhajana kriya is giving knowledge, is not sufficient alone. Actually experiencing purification, experiencing spiritual happiness is also important for us to get the, to make that our faith steady. Right now we have tiny faith, बहुत छोटा faith है, विश्वास है, and that becomes properly situated faith when we actually experience spiritual happiness, and that comes from bhajana kriya, that is chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, alone, also in the Sankirtan. And that happens, our anartha nivrutti happens. Anarthas, we have lust, anger, greed, hankering, attachment, fear. All of those tendencies starts reducing, and we become nishtha, we become fixed in our devotion to Krishna and the entire process of bhajana kriya. So now we are able to hear attentively, we are able to read attentively, we are able to chant attentively, we are able to sing in the kirtans attentively and willingly, voluntarily, happily. We experience, by doing all this, we experience great joy. And by doing this, our service attitude increases towards Krishna and his devotees. So we are accepting more and more services. We are doing more and more services. We are able to take more and more risk for the service of Krishna. That will bring you progress, help you progress you further to Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, and Prema. So these are the steps in achieving Prema Bhakti completely. So we cannot operate without faith. Now, what is the role of faith in bhakti? The faith concept is introduced in the towards the end of fourth chapter, not in the second chapter when Krishna starts speaking that मैं भगवान हूँ, मैं बोल रहा हूँ, मुझ पर विश्वास करो और ये सब सुनो. So faith is, no, initially all Krishna, whatever Krishna spoke was very logical or could not be doubted, could be verifiable by our material senses also, and could be understood by our tiny intelligence also. So Krishna began all his instructions by speaking very logically, and now he's saying that there is a role of faith in the learning as well. If you want to grow more from here, you will have to bring faith into the play. Now, to understand, we cannot operate without faith. While going to sleep, we believe that we will wake up tomorrow morning, sun will rise next morning. And with that belief only we go down, we sleep. We have no guarantee of either of this happening. But we believe that it will happen to me. I will wake up and sun will rise tomorrow. No point of me worrying, spending the whole night thinking whether sun will rise or not rise. So uh, so when we travel by flight, we believe that all the checks have been diligently carried out by the airline staff and it is all perfectly safe to fly. No, we don't carry out any of the check ourselves. We doesn't even go and check the how much fuel this airplane has. We believe everything is done and we operate with that faith only. So similarly, scriptures require some basic level of faith. Just like कोई डॉक्टर के पास जाते हैं, हम पैर दुख रहा है इसके लिए, एंड सर दर्द के लिए हम जाते हैं डॉक्टर के पास, और वो बोलता है कि आपके पैर के ऊपर ऑपरेशन करना पड़ेगा टू क्योर योर हेडेक. दैट इज नॉट लॉजिकल. सो similarly, we have to have basic level of faith uh, to operate, to function with the scriptures, to progress with the scriptural instructions. So that much faith definitely we should have. And Bhagavad Gita provide a lot of logical information at the beginning. As we see, the regulation of senses control, control over mind and intelligence, as they are necessary for acting in this world. But Bhagavad Gita also explains the nature of Jiva, Jagadisha, and the relationship with each other. Uh, Given the nature of the special subject being subtle and spiritual, it can be learned through experience. And to take experience can be shared and heard from others who have gone through the same process earlier. So, so that's why devotees in our life, the role of devotees in our life becomes very important. We want to experiment on ourselves. We want to experience spiritual happiness. For that, we have to offer ourselves as subject of experiment. So we have to do japa ourselves. We have to wake up early in the morning and to take bid bag and do japa with the devotees ourselves to experience whether whether I feel spiritually happy or not, or anathas where I'm able to experience my whether my anger is reducing, whether my lusty feelings, desires to do wrong things, whether those desires are reducing or not. I can hear from others, other people, other devotees whom I meet. They can share their experiences of how when they took up this faithfully, how they how how they experience those improvements in their life. But that is good but not sufficient, because ultimately I'm at least getting an assurance that by following the process they've got the benefit. So if I follow the process correctly, properly, I will get benefited. So that knowledge is critical, but that does not sufficient, because I still have to do things myself and then get an experience. So Krishna is a person and he's personal, and he reciprocates with everyone who follow this process. So if you become conscious of me, Krishna says in the 18.58 that you will pass over all obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If, however, you do not work in such a consciousness, na shrosasi vinakshasi, machitta sarva durgani mat prasadat tarishyati, such but and so what Krishna is saying is that if you don't, but however, if you do not work in such consciousness, but act through false ego, not hearing me, then you will be lost. Athachetvatvam ahankarat na shrosasi vinakshasi. So you will be lost. So the last couple of verses, Krishna says, a reaction-free work. The work in such a way that there are no reactions to you. And the last verse, Krishna repeat his instruction, rise and fight. That work in such a way that you will not get reactions, but uh, doesn't mean you should give up work. Rise and fight. In this way, Krishna concludes the instructions given in chapter 4. We'll just do a quick summary. Krishna reveals, this is called transcendental knowledge, where Krishna is revealing about himself more, giving more details about himself, how he's talking about his greatness, his sweetness, both. And knowing how great Krishna is should make us humble and submissive. Knowing how sweet Krishna is should attract our heart and activities towards. We should be able to dedicate our activities for his pleasure. Seeing this endeavor from us, Krishna reciprocates, and it is not his partiality but proof of his personality. A person can be reciprocal, a principle cannot be reciprocal. We saw example of law of gravity is not reciprocal, because everybody who is falling down will fall down, jump down will fall down, a stone, a child, both will come down. A law of gravity cannot reciprocate with child separately. So a system of action reaction is designed, owned and controlled by Krishna. Hence his ultimate cause. But he is not immediate cause. Uh, Immediate cause is our wrong actions. And so hence we shouldn't blame Krishna for our sufferings. We should learn to accept the sufferings, whatever the outcome results that what we are experiencing, we should learn to accept it. Once we accept it, we should be able to do something about it. If you accept that you have fallen sick, you will be able to search for a cure or search for some treatment for getting cured of that sickness. But as long as you keep fighting saying that I'm not sick at all, then there's no question of you approaching somebody for treatment. Then there is, that will prolong, that will delay your you getting cured. So it's important to accept the existing situation as it is. We have to understand the situation and we have to accept it mentally and physically. Once we accept, doesn't mean that we should remain in that situation forever. We should mitigate what we can do. We should do what we can do to the best of our ability. And then, even if, despite of doing all that, if the situation doesn't improve, we should tolerate. We should tolerate, knowing that it is happening according to the plan of Krishna. It is those plans nobody can understand. It is all sanctioned by Krishna. Because of the sanction of Krishna, this misery is coming upon me and it is unavoidable. And I just need to learn to tolerate. When to do what should be understood from a devotee. Therefore, you should have devotees in your life to ask questions. When should I tolerate? Is this right time for me to do some mitigating action? Should I take some action to mitigate the current situation? How I can mitigate? Is it acceptable? Is this, am I accepting this is my laziness, or I'm accepting this as my out of my consciousness, right consciousness? So when should I accept? When should I mitigate? When should I tolerate? uh, can be done best under the guidance of devotees. So they direct their current actions for the pleasure of Krishna under the devotees direct their current actions for the pleasure of Krishna under the guidance of another devotee or a guru who gives his supreme knowledge. Faithful get the knowledge and can perform actions in Krishna consciousness and finally cross over the ocean of miseries. Faithless suffer in this life and the next life perpetually. Therefore, Krishna's advice to Arjuna to fight this war as a devotional service for his pleasure, so Arjuna can remain free from sin and and bondage. So this is how Krishna concludes the instructions given in chapter 4. So our opportunity for hearing and chanting, performing devotional service is all about hearing, chanting, and serving. So services, are far away. We are far away from the services, but at least we should do hearing and chanting regularly. So we have a japa session every morning. Happens on Zoom. Everyone can join and chant along with the devotees. So if you don't come for a few days, some devotees will call you why you are not coming, and that kind of accountability help us become fixed in devotional service. Otherwise devotional service remains seasonal, not serious and not so serious. We if we are not serious devotee, we do devotion whenever we feel like devotional, then we cannot progress much. It doesn't benefit much. We cannot progress much by this following such process. So become serious devotee. We should be having other devotees in our life. We should be accountable ourselves, to make ourselves accountable to other devotees so that they can chastise us and tell us when to do, what to do. And that kind of instruction, when it comes, it becomes easier to get fixed up in the devotional service. So japa is part of that. A reading session that happens in the evening is also part of that. We should do our own reading. If we are not, at least listen to others reading, and that's how we can get fixed up in the devotional service. We can do it with consistency in our good days, in our bad days, in our ugly days. We should not be able to give up the devotional service of hearing, chanting, and serving Krishna. So with this, we will pause. We are at 1 o'clock, 4 minutes past one. I'll just go to the chat box to see if anyone has any questions. If you want to ask a question, feel free to raise your hand and we can give opportunity to ask questions to you. But else, I'll go to the chat box to see what is there, and we can otherwise we can conclude today's session. So Calcutta incident. So put some status girl strong by joining them, teaching them, self-relied upon, even though she. Those. Yeah. So there's a question on the Kolkata incidents where the group or the gang rape kind of situation happens, and many such incidences have happened in past as well. Uh, how can one understand this? How this can be sanctioned by Krishna, and where is what role Krishna play in these incidents? Uh, So it's difficult to understand and difficult to digest as well. But these things also, I mean, again, Krishna is not the immediate cause. Immediate cause is the misuse of free will given by Krishna by people who are involved in these incidents, and obviously they will suffer eventually for the actions that they have performed. But in the short run, there will be sufferings that the other souls will also undergo. So that's how we can discuss this offline in more detail on. Hare
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Sorry to interrupt you.
Krishna. Yes, Madhuri.
Prabhuji, can I talk in Hindi?
हाँ हाँ, no problem.
प्रभुजी चैट बॉक्स में मैंने रेज हैंड किया, वो आपको शायद कौन सा अलग चैट बॉक्स है क्या क्वेश्चन पूछने का?
So when you raising hand can be done by रिएक्शन में ना, इफ यू रिएक्ट करके एक फील्ड होता है, वहां जाके
ओके
ना यू कैन शो रेज हैंड, व्हेन यू क्लिक ऑन दैट रिएक्ट, वहां पे होता है रेज हैंड। रेज हैंड का ऑप्शन वहां पे होता है। यस यस माधव, गो अहेड।
प्रभु जी, मतलब ये जो आपने बताया सब कृष्णा के विल से होता है, जो भी होता है, मतलब whatever is happening with Krishna's will, बट ये जो तमोगुण, रजोगुण, सत्वगुण, ये तीन का वो भी कृष्णा के सैंक्शन अंडर में ही है ना? मतलब उनके सैंक्शन में ही करते हैं या फिर वो, ऐसा मुझे मतलब समझ में नहीं आ रहा, हम करते हैं कि वो कृष्णा करते हैं?
सो गुण जो होते हैं, रजोगुण, सत्वगुण, तमोगुण, गुणाज आर गुणाज आर द रिजल्ट ऑफ अवर रिपीटेड एक्शन। सो जो हम काम, जैसे हमने लास्ट टाइम एग्जांपल लिया था, इंटरनेट पे गॉड अवेलेबल है, गोवा भी अवेलेबल है। अगर आपने कंसिस्टेंटली गोवा पे सर्च किया है तो आपका पैटर्न हो गया है गोवा का। सो आप जियो टाइप करने के बाद गोवा आता है, करेक्ट। बट आप गॉड भी अवेलेबल है, गोवा भी अवेलेबल है। जो आपने कंसिस्टेंटली किया है काम पिछले कंसिस्टेंटली, मतलब वॉट एवर यू हैव बीन यूज्ड टू डू, दैट बिकम्स अवर नेचर, एंड इट्स नॉट दैट इट कैनॉट बी चेंज। बट अगर वो प्रोग्राम हो जाता है तो हमारा नेचर वो होने से, we then tend to, that choices comes pop-ups, वो choices का pop-up पहले आ जाता है। जैसे GO टाइप करने के बाद GOD आ नहीं होता है, GOA होता है। अब GOA हो गया है तो इट्स अ इट्स जैसे ये इम्पल्स में आ गया आपके सामने, करेक्ट, ऑटो कंप्लीट कर दिया। डज इट मीन दैट यू हैव टू गो ऑन टू दैट वेबसाइट एंड वॉच व्हाट्स हैपनिंग इन गोवा? नो, यू कैन वेरी वेल डिलीट GOA, ए डिलीट करके आप डी टाइप करके वापस सर्च कर सकती है, करेक्ट। वो एडिशनल एफर्ट हमको लेना पड़ता है। सो जैसे कि गुणास के साथ फाइट करने के, गुणास ये हमारे ही एक्शन से बने हैं, ये भगवान ने फैसिलिटी दी है, बट एक्शंस तो हमने ही किए थे। गोवा पे सर्च भगवान ने दोनों डाला है, गूगल पे दोनों अवेलेबल है, गोवा भी है, गॉड भी है। बट हमने कंसिस्टेंटली गोवा सर्च किया है, तो इसके लिए नाउ व्हेन आई टाइप जी और गोवा दिखा देता है हमको। बट दैट डजंट मीन दैट वी आर फोर्स टू गो टू गोवा। हम जियो ए डिलीट करके डी टाइप करके गॉड पे वापस सर्च कर सकते हैं, बट उसके लिए एडिशनल एफर्ट लगता है। सो टू फाइटिंग विद गुणाज इज पॉसिबल। We'll study that in the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is dedicated to the modes of material nature. And वहां पे 26वें श्लोक में भगवान बताते हैं कि by doing bhakti, consistently, you will be able to overcome gunas. By taking help from Krishna only, you will be able to overcome gunas. But otherwise, in general, we are under the control of those gunas. We are forced to act at times as per the gunas. But वो force है, but वो impulse है, compulsion नहीं है. What we have to understand is, it is not compulsory for us to search on Goa just because autocomplete ने वो complete किया है. So autocomplete, though autocompletion has happened, the desire मन में आ जाता है कि ये करे, but desire आ गया इसके, जैसे कि if you are getting alcoholic people के साथ अक्सर ये होता है. Those who are alcoholic, they can't resist temptation of going into alcohol shop and drinking. So but they resist. What they do, they change their route, and in the new route there is no alcohol shop. If you are not alcoholic, you may cross alcohol shop every day, you will not even get bothered by it. But if you are alcoholic, and if you cross that shop every time you are crossing, you are getting impulse from within that you should go in and have some drink. And now, so that is a impulse. There is a push that comes from within, but there is not compulsion. There is an impulse, but it is not compulsion. So you can fight with that push also and resist that temptation. Now, the fighting with these temptations in general can happen at 4 level: 1, 2, 3, 4. At the lowest level, uh, the temptation comes and you are not able to fight only despite of having all the knowledge. um, the moment temptation comes कुछ गलत चीज करने का, you just do that. You just end up doing it without really contemplating much, without giving much thought. You just do it. So this is the lowest level where the desire or the temptation is very powerful, and your knowledge and your discrimination, ये सही नहीं है, ये गलत है, that is very weak. That is there, but it's very weak. It's not able to fight with this strong temptation, strong desire when it comes. So this is lowest level. At lowest level, this is there. One level above is by doing hearing and chanting and serving, you are strengthening your power to discriminate. Your discriminating power, you are strengthening. And now, next time when that same temptation come, you are not losing helplessly. You are fighting. You are putting up a fight with that temptation, saying that why it is not right. You are arguing with that temptation. So this is all happening inside. So inside our heart, inside our mind. So this mind, this temptation also comes in the mind, and the counter to that temptation also comes within the mind. Now it may so happen that the temptation is, there's a big battle inside our mind to do or not to do, to act according to our desire, though knowing that it is not right, or not to do. And there is a big battle which is going on. You are arguing with giving various logical reasons, and because you have fed that soul, you have fed that good consciousness, that good consciousness is now able to put up a fight with that wrong temptation. However, that it may still be at this level, this temptation may still win. After battling also, you may end up doing that wrong thing. So first level, there is a helpless surrender. Temptation comes, it's too powerful, you don't even fight. You just do what the temptation asks you to do, be it drinking alcohol, smoking cigarette, taking drugs, or what, be it doing anything wrong. Second level, there is no this consciousness is, your good consciousness has got some strength, so he put up a fight, but they lose the fight, and then you still end up doing that wrong thing. At a third level, there's a big battle that happens, and this time your good consciousness win over the temptation, and you don't do that wrong thing. Eventually, at the fourth level, whenever the temptation will come still, and the good consciousness has become so strong that it kills helpless, it kills that temptation instantly. The temptation is not able to put up a fight. So progressively, as you see, at the level 4, we are able to fight with our temptations in much better way. Though, so this is how this all happens through the gunas. Our sattva gun or shuddha sattva becomes so powerful that we are able to fight with all wrong temptations. But for that, one has to cultivate knowledge, one has to cultivate that good consciousness, and that is done through hearing and chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That is done through studying Bhagavad Gita and acting according to the instructions of Gita. When that is not done, our good consciousness is extremely weak, and even if sometimes we know we are doing wrong, we end up doing wrong. We may regret later, sometimes we may not even regret, but that's how the wrong thing happens in the world in general.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you. Actually, I want to get up in the morning. I'm so lazy. Uh, I'm trying to get up, but I'm doing the same mistake every day. I'm thinking in the night that I want to get up, I will get up, but I'm not sleeping early, and there are some little problems. मतलब मैं backstep ले रही हूँ फिर ऐसा हो रहा है मेरा.
Yeah. So I'll have some devotees to give you a missed call or give you a call in the morning. So they will wake you up. To wake them up, to wake you up, even they will have to wake up early. So that way you both can help each other in waking up early and doing japa nicely. Thank you so much for your
यस
question.
प्रभु जी, मैं 4:30 को उठ जाती हूँ. मीन्स सॉरी प्रभु जी, 4:30 को मैं उठ जाती हूँ, पर मतलब उठ के फिर फ्रेश अप होके फिर फ्रेश अप होने के लिए फिर वो 10 मिनट्स में उसको पार नहीं कर पाती. नहीं, अभी थोड़ा सो जाती हूँ, ऐसा हो जाता है. और थोड़ा और 5 बजे उठती हूँ, 5:30 बजे ऐसा हो जाता है. फिर लास्ट में मैं 7 को उठ जाती हूँ, ऐसा हो जाता है.
No, no, that
मतलब
happens
4:30 का
already.
मेरा मतलब
We,
मतलब मैं ये
yeah,
हो
we all
जाती
have
हूँ.
gone through. हम लोग सब इस प्रोसेस से गए हुए हैं. So we know what exactly you mean, and we'll try to help you, Mataji. Definitely.
ओके,
Okay, Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्णा
So
प्रभु.
Baiju Prabhuji, you have some question?
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for such a wonderful session. Basically, Prabhuji, I have one question. I always try to escape from the friends, those who are, helping me to do the bad things. But I never, made control on myself, and I do control for few days, and I chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Then someday I read Bhagavad Gita also. So I maintain it for few days. Then again, those friends, when they ask me to do the things which I should not do, I you know I internally I think that I will not do this, but with the influence of my colleagues, my friends, I do those things. So how to avoid such scenarios, how to escape from such kind of people, because they are the part of my society, they are the part of my work, they are my colleagues at somewhere where I'm working, like. So how to avoid such kind of sangati? So it will be, yeah, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you so much, Roji. Very nice question. So, at so one of the thing we all should do, or we all should hope to have, is devotees in our life. It's not Krishna consciousness. If this is an online session, it's the only facility here is that we don't have to travel somewhere, and one is our reach should be wider. We should not be restricted to one city and one geography, and we can actually, we can, people from Australia also join this session, and other countries also, they are able to join this session. So one is but that is not the all, that is not all. We should have devotees in our life. Just like how we have friends, we should have devotee friends who are also trying to practice Krishna consciousness. So when you have devotees as your friends, and there they are able to fulfill the desire or the need to have friendship, otherwise which we are searching otherwhere, otherwise at other places. So that need, when that get fulfilled amongst devotees, then you are actually happy in the company of those devotees. Then you don't feel the need to search for happiness somewhere else. That is number one. Number two is we still will have to come, we still will have to work, and a workplace will not have devotees around us. And so there our Maharaj also very categorically tell us that we should deal with people to the extent that is absolutely necessary to be dealt with. Just like we go to Banya shop and buy some products from them. Now how we will deal with them, how much reciprocal we will be with them. We can be nice with them. A grocery store in the corner of where we live, we may be going there, but we don't become very intimately connected with them at any stage. we could be nice with them. We may at times inquire about their health, about their family well-being, but our dealings are predominantly professional. We go with money, we buy whatever we want, we pay money, we get our stuff, we come back to our home. We don't dilly dally with them. So like that, when we keep our dealings with at our workplace professional, uh, then and deal with them only to the extent it is absolutely necessary to be dealt with, then this problem can be overcome. There we don't have to search for happiness through our dealings with those friends. That for that, we should have devotional friends also. And for that's why it's important for us to have friends in the Krishna consciousness. So though the movement is widespread, the online class has reached the other parts of the states, other parts of the countries, but through telephone, through yatras, we should take up this opportunity to meet devotees and spend time with devotees and reciprocate with other devotees. The other devotees are not necessarily very pure devotees or very advanced devotees. They could be similarly struggling devotees, just like we are struggling, but together, we both can help each other in our struggle and overcome our struggle. And that way, our necessity for external pleasure reduces. Dependence on external friends eventually should reduce. And when we should have Krishna conscious friends. Yesterday we were on a 2.5 day yatra to Dakor in Gujarat. All the people, we were 24/7, we were with devotees, except for the hours that we were sleeping and doing our uh, basic things. Practically almost all the time we were with devotees, and we were talking with devotees, we were joking with devotees, we were dancing with the devotees. We did street harinam, we did harinam on the streets of Dakor, where we, from hotel to the Dakor Ranchod Rai temple, we used to go. The whole market used to come and dance in the kirtan party. And Prasad was there always. So there are and everyone become friend, right, in that whole assembly. So like that, our needs are also taken. Needs for friendship, needs for us to feel valued, appreciated, and loved and cared for. Those need to be taken care of, and that can also happen in a devotee circle. So we should have devotees in our life. And if you don't have any, send me a message. We will have you connected with some devotees, and those will keep calling you. You can call them whenever you have time, and you should together learn how to practice Krishna consciousness. And that is how we develop relationships in Krishna consciousness. So it's a class is general, but what happens after the class is personal, and that is more important. General instructions are there for everyone to hear, that's fine, but a personal reciprocation that comes from devotees, that is more valuable, and that makes us devotee. Okay.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It was really very helpful for me. And Prabhuji, as you rightly said that I really like the association of the other devotees, and I have attended many programs also. But actually, I could not continue. But definitely, the thing you are doing follow up personally. There are multiple people who are attending this lecture, and you are doing personally follow up with everyone. That is really a great kind of thing you guys are doing. So I also want to take the part of this. So please help me to get it connected with the other devotees, so I will be also involved in such activities, and I will try to purify myself, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Yeah, I'll get you connected with someone, and hopefully, we can speak more often. So see if there are any other. Any Vaishnavi, you wanted to ask a question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, there was one question in the chat box, but I feel that a person has left the meeting.
Okay.
So he many times he's posted the same question.
Can you read out if you have in front of it?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Is that Hindu Bangladesh thing?
Yes, yes. Prabhuji.
Okay, yeah, fine. Shivam is there. Shivam Prabhu, you're there. Okay, we can discuss that.
He left Prabhuji.
He left the meeting. Okay, understood. Yeah. Okay. So if there are no other questions, we can conclude today's session. And yeah, we can conclude today's session, and we'll meet next Sunday with chapter 5. And in the meantime, please try and join Japa session regularly. Every morning we meet on Zoom and we do Japa. Please try to wake up early, and we'll figure out some method to help you wake up early, and I will send some tips and which we ourselves have tried following. We all have gone through the same trouble as I've mentioned, and it's not surprising that this, but it's good that those are spoken out so that we can offer some help, and using those, all of you can overcome and start practicing Krishna consciousness with more sincerity, more commitment, and that way all of us can benefit. So thank you so much all for joining, and we'll meet next Sunday. Hare Krishna. Shri Jagannath Bode Subhadra Mai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Hari Bol.
Hari
Thank you,
Bol.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hari Bol,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna
Dandavat
Prabhuji,
Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hari
Thank you so
Prabhuji.
much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
Thank you so much,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Dandavat
Prabhuji.
Pranam.
Thank you,
Dandavat
Prabhuji.
pranam.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna,
Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna.
Dandavat.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.